We've been going through different decades of sci-fi cinema, and now it's the 2000s. For anyone new here, the format's simple. 10 years, 10 movies, one for each year. And of course, if you disagree with my choices, I know you do, share yours in the comments. The year 2000 gave us Pitch Black. Its reputation has been watered down by the sequels and spin-offs that came later. But as a standalone film, it works surprisingly well. The world feels convincing, the characters are drawn clearly, and it blends sci-fi action with a horror setup that really lands in the first act. Vin Diesel is at the center as Riddick, the night vision anti-hero who starts as a threat and slowly shifts into something more complex. The movie tips its hand a little too much by showing its monsters, but the tension never really disappears. It's certainly not the best film of the decade, but it still earns its place. Originally developed by Stanley Kubrick, AI artificial intelligence was passed to Steven Spielberg in 1995, and he finally brought it to the screen in 2001. At the center is David, a highly advanced robot child played by Haley Joel Osment, searching for his place in a future where he is neither fully accepted by humans nor machines. Kubrick had doubted that any young actor could carry such a demanding role, but Osment's performance proved otherwise. With a budget of $100 million, it grossed $235 million worldwide and received Oscar nominations for score and visual effects. Over time, some critics have even called it one of Spielberg's most enduring works. 2002, Spielberg again, this time adapting Philip K. Dick's 1956 short story. Not every adaptation of Dick holds up, but this one does. A sharp mix of action, philosophy, and noir. Tom Cruise plays John Anderton, chief of the pre-crime unit, in a future where psychics called precogs can predict murders before they happen. When they foresee Anderton himself committing a killing, he goes on the run, chased by Colin Farrell's agent Danny Whitwer, while trying to prove his innocence. And like the best sci-fi, it feels prophetic. Personalized ads, drone surveillance, and questions about how much control authorities should have over our lives all feel even more relevant today. Minority Report may be 23 years old, but it still hits with energy and unsettling insight. Don't rush to roll your eyes. If you're not into the Matrix sequels, remember that 2003 didn't really give us anything better in sci-fi. The Matrix Revolutions arrived only months after Reloaded, closing the trilogy with a full-scale war for Zion and the final battle between Neo and Agent Smith. Where Reloaded left audiences with a to-be-continued cliffhanger and a lot of frustration, Revolutions finally moves the pieces forward. Neo is stuck in limbo, Zion is under siege, and Agent Smith is spreading like a virus across the Matrix. The continuity makes the two films feel like a single two-part finale, but if I have to pick one, this is the stronger half. Compared to Reloaded, Zion is no longer a drag. The war sequences give it real weight. Trinity's storyline also has more heart than anything in the second film. Carrie-Anne Moss, already a standout, gets her most powerful moments here, while Neo steps fully into his prophecy. Messy at times, sure, but if I'm choosing between the two sequels, Revolutions is where the promise of the Matrix saga comes closest to being fulfilled. For some reason, 2004 was the hardest year to choose from. Some well-known films came out, but nothing that really fit. So the choice may seem surprising, but my sci-fi pick for this year is Wong Kar-wai's 2046. Following days of being wild and in the mood for love, two highly acclaimed films that brought Wong international recognition, this one is often seen as the third part of an unofficial trilogy. At its center is a journalist dealing with lost love who tries to process his past by writing a futuristic novel. The film shifts between his life in the 1960s and the imagined world of his book, a place where people attempt to revisit memories. 2046 shows how science fiction can be used not just for spectacle, but as a way to explore the human condition. It turns the genre, something that doesn't happen often, into a meditation on loss, memory, and the impossibility of going back. Yes, it's the third Spielberg movie. With War of the Worlds, he brought an unusual bleakness to the summer blockbuster, pairing large-scale spectacle with a story rooted in personal despair. This modern-day adaptation of H.G. Wells's novel follows Ray Ferrier, a divorced father played by Tom Cruise, as he tries to protect his children during an alien invasion. The action is staged with Spielberg's usual precision, backed by visual effects that still hold up. But the real core of the film isn't just the invasion. It's Ray's attempt to repair his broken relationship with his family while the world collapses around them. And the Ferriers' fight for survival carries the weight of something larger, a reflection of a post-9/11 America. Beneath the spectacle, Spielberg weaves in a sense of fear and sadness that makes War of the Worlds stand out as more than just another disaster movie. This might just be the best film of the 21st century so far, not only of the 2000s. Mike Judge's Idiocracy starts with a simple setup. Two perfectly average people, an army librarian and a prostitute, are put into suspended animation for what should have been 5 years. But after a funding scandal shuts the program down, they wake up 500 years later, in 2505, to find a world where intelligence has collapsed and society runs on pure stupidity. Released with little promotion and no screenings for critics, Idiocracy was easy to miss at first. But it has since earned a reputation as one of the most biting sci-fi satires ever made. A prophetic warning about what happens when anti-intellectualism and empty consumer culture take over. A rare, ambitious, and visually daring project, Sunshine was underrated on release, but looks far more important in hindsight for the story of sci-fi in the 2000s. Danny Boyle may be better known for tense, character-based dramas, but that didn't stop him from pulling off one of his boldest genre films here. The story takes place in the near future and follows a team of astronauts aboard the Icarus II, sent to reignite the dying sun with a massive stellar bomb. When they pick up a distress signal from the earlier mission, they discover its wreck and a captain driven mad by the belief that humanity has no right to survive. Leaning more towards science fiction than horror, Sunshine grounds its spectacle in a believable mission and human drama. Its scarred villain, terrifying and irrational, tips the film into horror while never losing the sense of awe in its cosmic premise. On this channel, we rarely talk about animation, but WALL-E is impossible to ignore. It's one of Pixar's most unique works and one of the most original sci-fi films of the 2000s. Andrew Stanton's film may look like a children's fantasy on the surface, but it aims higher. With almost no dialogue, it weaves together themes of overconsumption, environmental collapse, waste, and human responsibility, all through the eyes of a small, lonely robot left behind to clean an abandoned Earth. Moon is a minimalist sci-fi film that uses its small scale to explore questions of identity and memory. Sam Rockwell plays Sam Bell, an employee of Lunar Industries whose lonely job is to oversee helium-3 mining on the Moon, providing most of Earth's energy. Nearing the end of his 3-year contract, he looks forward to going home until an accident forces him to confront unsettling truths about himself. His only companion is Gertie, the station's robot, voiced with eerie calm by Kevin Spacey, whose behavior suggests it knows more than it reveals. With a budget of just $5 million, the film avoids spectacle, but the limitation works in its favor, adding to the atmosphere of mystery and isolation. Moon stands out not for visual effects, but for the philosophical questions it dares to ask. Are we just biological machines? And do our memories alone make us who we are?